Hey guys, so I came up with the ancestor look that I kind of sketched out for a couple days, and I had to switch it up sometimes, and I've been working on this look for such a long time. But this is the ancestor look, and I hope you guys don't find this tutorial too hard. I always will be open to answering any of your questions or trying to make things easier for you, and I am basically allowing you guys to mess up on multiple accounts throughout the makeup tutorial because I am completely aware of how hard makeup can seem to you guys. So I tried to make it easy and messy so that this look can be fun, and it also, you know, just looks really aesthetically pleasing to the crowd, because I did look up some pictures from other Addams Family productions, and quite frankly, as a makeup lover, I was appalled. The contouring was just no. But yeah, let's get on into the video. Alright, so we're gonna start off with the face first. So the first thing I'm gonna do is start off with a primer. I have this NYX Studio Perfect Photo Loving Primer. If you guys are looking for makeup to build up your collection for Drama Club, I really suggest going to Harmon Face Value. It's near Panera, right across from the Nanuet shop. So you can go there and you will find like a lot of makeup. So for our foundation, you're going to need to go 2 to 3 shades lighter than your own skin tone. Like if you have lighter skin tone like myself, you're going to need to go a little paler. For the foundation, because we are ancestors, we have to go for a very light and pale skin tone, almost white-ish. So I have this foundation here, and I mixed it with a little bit, a very small amount of this cream makeup from Party City. And I really put a lot of emphasis on putting a little bit, because if you put a lot, honestly, it's just not going to sit nicely on the skin, and it's just going to be very patchy, and it's not going to have an even coverage. And also, I tried working with this yesterday, and I put way too much, and the powders I applied on top just didn't blend nicely, so I only put a little bit. I will be listing the products down below if you guys, need suggestions for makeup. So with the foundation brush, I am applying this over my face. The foundation and the cream makeup tend to dry out quickly, so it's a very time-sensitive product. So I'm taking my beauty blender and I'm going to blend it out. I'm taking the foundation and cream makeup mixture, and I am blending it downwards towards my neck, because I don't really know how the costumes will work out, but if you have any area of skin that is going to be exposed and it's not going to be covered by white clothing, please make sure to blend down the foundation mixture so that everything matches. Especially if you happen to be on the tanner side, really blend it out to other areas of your body. And I also forgot to mention that if you are having trouble with mixing the foundation so that you don't have too much white makeup, I suggest to go in a 3:1 ratio. So the foundation will be 3 drops and the makeup will be 1 drop. I really strongly suggest not to put too much, because it's just such a low quality product that if you put too much, it's not going to sit nicely on the skin. Like, I applied the cream makeup a long time ago, actually, by itself, because I wanted to do a makeup tutorial for Dia de los Muertos, and it did not look nice. It cracked on my skin, actually, and I just don't suggest the product alone, or in excess, basically, or too much, because it's just not that great of a product. You want the foundation to be really light for your skin, and just that little drop of white cream makeup will get it to that white ancestor skin tone that we want to get to. What I'm going to do is highlight certain areas that I mentioned in my last video that you should always highlight. Alright, so after I applied my foundation for the second time, what I did was set my makeup with a little bit of powder, and I also baked underneath my eyes to set that area and move on to the eyebrows. I'm going to do that off camera, and I'm going to do this side so we can move on to the eye makeup. Alright, so for eyeshadow, I'm going to be using the Morphe 35N palette, and it features a whole array of colors, and I will be using this color and this color. This is something that you can only get online or in the store that they have way across the other side of the country. But I also have a more accessible one, the NYX Butt Naked eyeshadow palette. And it has similar eyeshadows, and I would personally suggest, if you wanted to get this, to use these two colors, because the first eyeshadow I will be using today is this light gray eyeshadow right here. And I already placed a base on my eye area, and basically placing a base is the equivalent to applying a primer before foundation. It basically helps your eyeshadow last longer, and it also intensifies the color so it looks a little more vivid and vibrant, basically. A fluffy brush and this eyeshadow right here. I'm taking that on my brush, and I will be applying that all over as a transition shade. And the key to building up the shadow basically is to use several different shades so we can build depth and dimension, whereas if we were to use one singular gray eyeshadow, it would look very flat. I'm also bringing that right here, in this hollow right here where my eyebrow meets my nose, so we can basically look like we're very sunken in. Switching into the palette again, and I am selecting this darker gray eyeshadow, and I will be applying it on the lid and the crease. The lid is this area right here on your eye, and the crease is located where your eye kind of folds in when you poke at it, so I will be applying it there to create more depth, so it looks a little more deep and sunken in. And also just to make it darker as well, because we will be on stage, so we really need to intensify the makeup, especially for us because most of us will be like all white, so we really need some color to bring back some definition. To finish off the look, I will be going in with an angled brush and some black gel liner from e.l.f. Really need gel liner. What you can use is black pencil liner, which I would strongly suggest as well. But you'll need a little bit of liner to help define the eyes a little more and to make them look a little more dark and deadly. So I'm taking that on an angled brush, and I am lining my lash line right here, which is the line where your eye meets your lashes. I'm taking my ring finger actually, and I'll be smudging that out so we have a bit of a smoky effect. And also for those who tend to really mess up with eyeliner, this is just gonna be a fun part for you because y'all can mess up and just smudge it out. And when you're doing your makeup, try not to have any open areas that exposes the skin, and try to fill in everything, because the contrast my hands are so messy. The contrast between your skin and the eyeshadow and shadows basically is so like great that you really need to make sure you blend everything out. So this look really requires a little more finesse basically, and that's also primarily the reason why I did my foundation first, so that I could cover up my skin and I would only have a little bit left to cover. I don't want any of my regular skin to be peeking out. This part is optional, but I will be applying some liner on my upper and lower waterline. The upper waterline, to line there, it's basically like an invisible eyeliner. It just adds a little more definition, and it also kind of makes the lashes look a little thicker if you're kind of lacking in the lush department like myself. And I'm pulling down on my skin to open up my eye a little bit, and I will be applying some liner there as well to close up my eye shape. So I went ahead and put on some false lashes for that feminine flair. But right now what we're going to do is try and create this mess right here on this side of my face. So I'm going in with the same shadows that we used earlier on the eyes. I'm going to go in with the light gray eyeshadow first. And with the same brush, I am going to shade where my dark circle would naturally fall. And then I'm kind of bringing it down. We're going to be placing a whole lot of emphasis here on the lower part of our eye so we can really look dead. I'm doing that. I'm also building up color and try to fade it as you go out and keep it a little more concentrated towards the inner corner, which is located right here. And then I'm actually going to take a mixture of that darker gray eyeshadow and a little bit of the black, and I'm concentrating this eyeshadow a little more on my actual dark circle, so a little closer to the eye. And then I'm kind of just fading it down. And if you guys need to know how to do like a fade, basically be really heavy-handed here and then go a little more light and be a little more delicate around the outer parts. I'm taking that gel liner and I'm applying it right here in this area that I didn't really fill in. This is the lower lash line, and if y'all need some inspo, think Hot Topic or Yourself circa 2008, because I know we were all on that black liner, side bang, skinny jeans, Jonas Brothers, Camp Rock wave. I'm telling y'all right now, I had such a huge crush on Joe. He was like, oh my god, I don't know who didn't have a crush on Joe. Like, oh, it was my first crush. Actually, you know what? Not even. My first crush, I think, was Prince Charming from Shrek 2. I legit had like the biggest crush on him. I was, one day we're gonna get married. Of course, me, the girly girl, had like the biggest crush on Prince Charming. And with this, what you want to do is fill in all the gaps. So if you see any gaps, please fill them in. And this is gel liner, so it's definitely a little harder to blend out because it's a time-sensitive product. So to kind of blend it in so it isn't, so it doesn't look like this, and so it kind of blends in with the rest of the shadow, what I'm going to do is take some black eyeshadow and basically apply that over top and really pack it on. And you can also take a little bit of that black eyeshadow and place it here on the hollow so that everything looks a little more I think the great thing about this is that you can be really messy with this and it'll still look great. So if you're not super great at makeup, it's okay. Y'all can mess up and it'll still look great. Just don't mess up too much because it's supposed to look nice, you know what I mean? God, I look like I'm about to go into some next type corner and start singing Paramore. Gosh, Mom, it's just a phase. So I'm going to take another brush and I'm going to start shading down the sides of my nose. The contouring for us is basically the same. It's just that we're not going to use, you know, brown for the shading. We're actually just going to use gray and stuff like that, because that's kind of our color scheme. It's very white and gray and black. So it's just the same thing, different colors. And also, I really suggest to practice this because the contrast between the shadows and our foundation is going to be so great, so you don't want it to look very messy. So be very careful with the contouring. Oh damn, my nose looks snatched to the gums. So currently I am shading with this eyeshadow right here from the Butt Naked palette, this gray eyeshadow. I'm just building up the color because we need to be a little more heavy-handed in terms of how we apply our makeup. we really need to be considerate of time because we will have call time, so we will be there early. So we will have time to do makeup, but you know, some people will have to be called in for mic checks, and we won't have everybody there because some people don't come in on time. So technically we do have 2 hours, but at the same time we don't have 2 hours because other activities kind of interrupt our makeup time. I'm gonna contour here on the side of my face, going from the top of the ear downward toward the middle of my eye. I'm just gonna do kind of a corpse bride kind of thing. See, I'm keeping it kind of sharp, and this is so that our features look a little more skeletal, basically. And then I'm mixing a little bit of black eyeshadow and that gray eyeshadow and placing it in this little hollow right here. Oh, that is a that is a lot. I'm just gonna blend it out, and this is just to deepen up that area. Position the brush as I shade like this. I hold the brush and I hold it diagonal to my face, and I shade from the top of my ear down to the middle of my eye, and that's what kind of creates that sharp line. And it also makes you look a little more skeletal and corpse-like. Just gonna shade lightly, and I'm also bringing a little bit of the shadow downward. And if you guys need a little bit of reference, you can look up pictures of corpses or the corpse bride, you know, from the Tim Burton movie. And I'm just shading really lightly, but it helps create that really cool skeleton effect. This part is optional as well, but if you have skin, specifically your collarbone or your neck that is being exposed, I'm just shading around like my throat, basically, to kind of make it look like my skin is basically like clinging on to dear life to my bones. For lips, I chose a gray color, and I mixed a nude lipstick with a bit of gray eyeshadow on the back of my hand. I'm actually planning on going to Harmon Face Value and getting this NYX liquid lipstick, and it's actually like gray, so I was planning on getting that soon so that I can use that instead of having to mix. Very inexpensive, and I'm gonna try and get it so that I can feature it in my next video. That concludes this look. I added a little bit of more gray eyeshadow to the lipstick mixture, and I added a little bit of Vaseline so my lips wouldn't get chapped while I was on stage. But that concludes this video, and I hope you guys really like it. If you have any confusion, or if you didn't really get anything, or you have a ton of questions, you can always DM me, or if you want, I can give you my number in the group chat once again. But yeah, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. And yeah, that concludes this video. God, why do I drink so much water? But yeah, I'll see you guys on the flip side.